The year is 1847 in Milan, Ohio. We see a small, bustling town where Thomas Alva Edison is born, the youngest of 7 children. His mother, Nancy, a former schoolteacher, cradles the sickly infant, unaware that this child will reshape the world. Samuel Edison Jr., the patriarch, is shown struggling with failed land ventures and business instability. The family constantly shifts homes, mirroring the restless energy that young Alva would soon inherit. The burden of poverty looms over the early household. Young Thomas, exhibiting extreme curiosity, sits patiently on a batch of goose eggs in a dusty barn. Having taken his mother's explanation literally, he attempts to hatch them himself, demonstrating the intense, hands-on inquiry defining his future life. The family relocates to Port Huron, Michigan in 1854, seeking stability. 7-year-old Thomas stands before the substantial home near the Fort Gratiot military post. The environment provides the secure base needed for his intellectual growth, nurtured by his doting mother. At age 8, Edison attends the one-room schoolhouse of Reverend G.B. Ingle. A frustrated teacher scolds the restless, slow pupil, claiming he was too stupid to learn. This painful dismissal becomes a pivotal moment in the boy's life. Nancy Edison, deeply offended by the teacher's assessment, resolves to teach Thomas herself. She is seen meticulously guiding him through books in their home, fostering his natural curiosity and allowing him to learn complex subjects at his own rapid pace. The School of Natural Philosophy, young Alva sets up his first home chemistry lab in the basement. Bottles and wires fill the cramped space. Explosions constantly shake the house, much to his father's chagrin, signaling his dangerous passion for science. 13-year-old Edison hustles aboard the Grand Trunk Railroad train connecting Port Huron and Detroit. He sells newspapers and refreshments, his entrepreneurial spirit shining through as he capitalizes on the urgency of Civil War news. During layovers in Detroit, Edison immerses himself in the public library. Surrounded by towering stacks of books, he devours scientific and historical literature, continuing the intensive self-education that formal schooling could not provide. Edison sets up a makeshift laboratory amidst crates and parcels in the train's baggage car. He conducts chemical experiments during the slow ride. A sudden movement causes a chemical spill, igniting a small but decisive fire. A furious conductor confronts the teenage inventor amidst the smoky remnants of the baggage car. The accidental fire leads to Edison's immediate and unceremonious firing, ending his first independent venture on the rails. Selling inflated newspapers reporting Civil War battles, Edison witnesses the immediate power of the telegraph. He realizes this electrical wire network is the key to instantaneous communication and information control across the nation. At age 15, Edison apprentices under James Mackenzie. He eagerly learns the Morse code rhythms, but distracts himself constantly by tinkering with electrical equipment. His lack of discipline foreshadows trouble in his early telegraph career. Edison is shown sleeping during his night shift at Stratford Junction, failing to hold a critical train. The resulting near catastrophe leads to his swift dismissal, reinforcing his reputation as a brilliant but unreliable operator. A montage shows Edison drifting through Midwest cities, Indianapolis, Cincinnati, Memphis. He bounces from job to job, using each telegraph office as a free, temporary laboratory, until his experimental habits inevitably get him fired again. In Indianapolis in 1864, Edison develops his first invention, a Morse repeater, a device designed to slow down rapid telegraph messages, so operators can handle the sheer volume of newsprint. This highlights his knack for solving practical communication problems. Edison is seen diligently filling detailed notebooks, sketching diagrams, and meticulously documenting his experiments. He slowly transitions from an undisciplined tinkerer into a mature, systematic inventor focused on scientific literature. Working at the Maine Western Union office in Boston in 1868, Edison meets financier E. Baker Welch. He files his first patent for an electric vote recorder, intending to speed up political proceedings, a clear effort to commercialize invention. Congressmen dismiss Edison's electric vote recorder, preferring the traditional system of debate and roll call. Standing amidst his failed device, Edison learns his famous lesson: only invent things the public actually wants to buy. Edison announces his resignation from Western Union in January 1869, resolving to become a full-time inventor. He leaves the security of employment behind, stepping out into the competitive, high-stakes world of New York City with bold determination. Edison arrives in bustling, crowded New York City, nearly penniless but brimming with ideas. He is an outsider, ready to seize the opportunities offered by Wall Street's booming financial technology needs. Called to repair a broken telegraphic gold price indicator on Wall Street, Edison expertly fixes the complex machinery. Impressed supervisors immediately offer him a lucrative job, providing the financial foundation for his manufacturing ambitions. In 1870, Edison receives his first substantial financial reward for perfecting the improved stock ticker system. He stands proudly beside his device, leveraging this success to transition from mere operator to technology manufacturer and business owner. Funded by his ticker profits, Edison establishes his first dedicated laboratory and machine shop in Newark, New Jersey. This move solidifies his commitment to systematic invention and mechanical production outside the confines of the telegraph office. Edison works intensely on the quadruplex telegraph, a complex device developed in 1874 capable of sending 4 messages simultaneously over one wire. Its completion dramatically increases communication capacity, earning him significant industry recognition. Edison demonstrates the use of his electric pen, designed to create stencil copies of documents efficiently. This invention showcases his focus on maximizing office productivity and replicating information quickly in the burgeoning corporate environment. The continued financial success of the improved stock ticker allows Edison to move fully into invention and manufacturing. He views the money as fuel for further, grander experiments, not merely as personal wealth. Edison, age 24, observes 16-year-old Mary Stilwell working at his Newark shop, punching perforations into telegraph tape. Their initial professional interaction quickly blooms into a courtship, despite their age difference. On Christmas Day, 1871, Edison marries Mary. Immediately following the brief ceremony, he returns compulsively to the laboratory, intensely focused on a stock ticker problem. This singular dedication defines the challenging start of their marriage. Mary gives birth to their first 2 children, Marion, and Thomas Jr., Edison affectionately assigns them Morse code nicknames, intertwining his family life, however briefly, with his relentless career. Mary is left to raise the young children largely alone in Newark. A poignant image shows her looking toward the distant glow of the laboratory, understanding that her husband's intense dedication to work often superseded domestic duties. Their third child, William Leslie, is born in 1878. Despite the growing family, Edison remains perpetually focused on his projects, establishing a pattern of paternal distance that strains familial relationships. Samuel Edison finds a suitable property, Menlo Park, a quiet, failed housing development in Raritan Township. Edison purchases the land in 1875, envisioning a rural, dedicated space for uninterrupted, large-scale invention far from city distractions. The revolutionary new laboratory building is swiftly constructed in March 1876, a white, two-story structure. The ground floor houses precision machine tools, the second floor, chemical apparatus. This is the birth of the world's first industrial R&D facility. Edison moves into the completed Menlo Park lab with his core staff, including Charles Batchelor. They begin the systematic, round-the-clock research that characterizes the invention factory model he created. Edison boasts of his ambitious plan, a minor invention every 10 days and a big thing every 6 months or so. This commitment reflects his revolutionary, systematic approach to invention, promising continuous technological output. By 1880, the Menlo Park complex grows into a technological village. Several specialized buildings, including a library, machine shop, and glass-blowing shop, are filled with nearly 80 men focused solely on applied research. The Menlo Park facility is depicted as the ultimate industrial laboratory prototype. It fuses scientific inquiry, engineering, and manufacturing under one roof, laying the blueprint for all subsequent corporate R&D divisions worldwide. While improving the telephone transmitter in the summer of 1877, Edison observes that running indented paper tape at high speed produces vocal sounds. This unexpected phenomenon sparks the idea that sound vibrations could be physically recorded. Edison triumphantly announces his revolutionary invention, the phonograph, in November 1877. The news instantly travels the globe, stunning the scientific community with the concept of sound captured and reproduced mechanically. A close-up shows the first phonograph, a hand-cranked drum wrapped in tinfoil, connected to a diaphragm and stylus. This simple mechanical setup is capable of capturing ephemeral sound waves, though the recordings are short-lived. Edison leans into the horn, speaking the phrase, "Mary had a little lamb." He cranks the device back, and the faint, scratchy voice repeats the words. The sheer magic of recorded sound is realized for the first time. Edison arrives triumphantly at the Scientific American offices in New York, demonstrating the talking machine. The journalists are left astonished, cementing his reputation as the world's leading technological genius. The press erupts with praise following the phonograph demonstration, christening Edison the Wizard of Menlo Park. He gains international celebrity, symbolizing American innovation and technological capability in the late 19th century. Edison is issued the patent for the phonograph on February 19, 1878, cementing his claim to the invention. The world rushes to see the talking machine, eager to understand the mechanism behind recorded sound. Urged by Western Union, Edison develops the carbon resistance telephone transmitter in 1876. His design uses compressed carbon to modulate electrical resistance based on sound, drastically improving telephone clarity and range for the next century. In the fall of 1878, Edison vows to create a practical, economical, incandescent electric lighting system. He commits 30 months of intense research, recognizing that the existing, short-lived lights are commercially unviable. Edison and his team, led by Charles Batchelor, tirelessly test thousands of materials in the lab's vacuum pump room during 1879. They carbonize and examine countless fibers, seeking the one material that can sustain prolonged incandescence. After relentless effort, The team succeeds with a carbonized cotton filament sealed in a vacuum bulb in late October 1879. The bulb glows steadily for 14.5 hours, a monumental achievement proving long-lasting electric light is possible. Edison receives patent number 223-898 in January 1880 for his incandescent light bulb. This historic patent embodies the principles of his low-voltage, high-resistance design that paved the way for universal domestic electric light. Edison recognizes the bulb is useless without infrastructure. He is shown designing dynamos, fuses, sockets, meters, and miles of underground copper conduits, creating the first comprehensive electrical power system. While experimenting, Edison observes glowing black particles around the filament base inside the vacuum bulb. This unexplained phenomenon, the Edison effect, is the foundational principle for vacuum tube electronics and early radio technology. At 3 p.m. on September 4, 1882, Edison gives the signal in Manhattan. The world's first commercial electric power plant at Pearl Street Station begins delivering direct current, DC power, lighting up 400 lamps for 85 customers. Inside the bustling Pearl Street Station, massive 27-ton custom-made dynamos, nicknamed Jumbo, roar to life. These pioneering generators symbolize the industrial scale of the new electrical age in the heart of the financial district. An image of the New York Times building lit by Edison's soft, mellow electric light. The paper, one of the first customers, reports on the reliable, safe alternative to flickering gaslight, ushering in the modern era. By 1884, Pearl Street Station was serving 508 customers with over 10,000 lamps, despite running at a loss initially. This milestone confirms the commercial viability and public demand for Edison's full electrical system. Edison leaves the Menlo Park complex in 1881, now focused on manufacturing and global installation of his electrical systems. He recognizes the necessity of establishing centralized factories and offices in major urban centers. Tragedy strikes in August 1884 as Mary Edison dies unexpectedly at age 29, possibly due to a brain tumor or a morphine overdose. Edison is left a widower with 3 young children and profound grief. In 1885, Edison, 38, meets the charming, cultured 19-year-old Mina Miller at a friend's home. Despite his deafness, their courtship flourishes, culminating in Edison proposing to her using Morse code tapped into her palm. Edison marries Mina Miller in Akron, Ohio in February 1886. Mina's background prepares her to manage the household and the famous inventor's chaotic lifestyle, offering him a new, organized domestic foundation. As a wedding gift, Edison purchases Glenmont, a luxurious 3-story mansion in the private community of Llewellyn Park, West Orange, New Jersey. The opulent estate contrasts sharply with his simple, experimental roots. Edison opens his largest, most ambitious laboratory complex in West Orange in 1887. The massive red brick structure, built down the hill from Glenmont, is a physical embodiment of his limitless inventive aspirations, dwarfing Menlo Park. The main laboratory building is detailed. A sprawling library serves as his office, flanked by specialized machine shops and chemical rooms. Edison proclaims, "The lab can build anything from a lady's watch to a locomotive." The main storeroom is piled high with exotic and rare materials, cow hair, seahorse teeth, every chemical imaginable. Edison champions the big scrap heap philosophy, believing the key to invention lies hidden within unexpected resources. 200 men work systematically in the West Orange complex. This fusion of research, development, and adjacent manufacturing solidifies Edison's position as the pioneer of the modern corporate R&D laboratory. Edison worked at the West Orange Laboratory from 1887 until his death, a period of 44 years. More than half of his 1,093 U.S. patents resulted from the collaborative work conducted in this expansive complex. Mina and Thomas welcome 3 children, Madeline, Charles, and Theodore. Mina focuses on structuring the family unit, while Edison remains obsessed with his work, causing increasing distance with the children from his first marriage. Thomas sired 6 children in total, yet only Madeline bore offspring. The viewer understands that the Edison surname, despite his fame, would not be carried on through his direct descendants. In 1887, Edison resumes intensive research on the phonograph, striving to improve its fidelity and durability after the invention had been initially exploited as a novelty. He now seeks to transform it into a viable commercial product. In October 1888, Edison declares his new focus, an instrument which does for the eye what the phonograph does for the ear. He envisions a unified entertainment system combining recorded sight and sound. Edward Muybridge visits the West Orange Lab, proposing a collaboration to sync his motion studies, zoopraxiscope, with the phonograph. Edison declines, realizing the limitations, but the seed of film is firmly planted. Edison's team, led by W.K.L. Dixon, develops the strip kinetograph around 1889, an early movie camera utilizing long, flexible film with sprocket holes. This breakthrough allows for continuous, rapid succession photography. The kinetograph is demonstrated semi-publicly to members of the National Federation of Women's Clubs in 1891. The simple, jerky moving images mark a quiet yet revolutionary precursor to cinematic entertainment. The first commercial movie theater opens on Broadway in NYC on April 14, 1894. Customers pay 5 cents to look into the kinetoscope, a peephole device, viewing short, silent films, the first commercial exhibition of motion pictures. To capture these early films, the team builds a strange black structure with an opening roof. Nicknamed the Black Maria, this rudimentary tar paper stage is recognized as the world's first dedicated movie production studio. Edison initially disdains projection, but eventually buys the rights to the phantoscope. He starts manufacturing projectors in 1896, recognizing the commercial power of showing films to a room full of paying customers simultaneously. The War of Currents erupts in the late 1880s. Edison, the champion of DC, squares off against George Westinghouse and Nikola Tesla, who promote the superior long-distance capabilities of AC. The battle for control of America's electrical future begins fiercely. Edison reluctantly advises the Death Penalty Commission, ultimately suggesting the use of Westinghouse's AC generators for the execution device. He aims to taint the term alternating current forever. Letters stolen from Brown's office reveal Edison Electric Light's financial support for the propaganda. The public learns of the cynical, cutthroat business tactics deployed by the wizard. Despite Edison's vicious efforts, the technical superiority of alternating current wins. The visual shows long-distance transmission lines stretching across the landscape, symbolizing the eventual dominance of the Westinghouse-Tesla system. During the first decade of the 20th century, Edison turns his attention to electric automobiles, striving to create a lightweight, long-lasting storage battery. He aims to replace the heavy, corrosive lead-acid batteries then in use. For a decade, Edison meticulously experiments with alkaline electrolytes, eventually developing the iron-nickel storage battery. His intense, focused research exemplifies his dedication to overcoming material science challenges. By the time Edison perfects the alkaline battery in 1906, the internal combustion engine has already secured market dominance. His invention, technologically sound, is tragically superseded by market shifts in transportation. Though losing the automobile market, Edison finds huge commercial success selling the alkaline battery for industrial applications, powering railroad signals, miners' lamps, and other heavy equipment. Edison was granted 147 total patents relating to batteries in his lifetime, underscoring the importance of this chemical endeavor. The alkaline battery became the most successful product of his later years. Edison engages in a concentrated, ultimately unsuccessful project 1889 to 1895 in Ogdensburg, New Jersey, attempting to develop electromagnetic methods to separate iron from low-grade ore. This venture drains substantial time and money. Edison champions his vision for mass-producing monolithic concrete houses around 1908. He intends to pour entire structures, including plumbing and fixtures, in one elaborate mold, hoping to solve urban housing crises. Builders were reluctant to invest $175,000 in complex metal formwork required for the concrete houses. Despite the general lack of interest, a few concrete houses were built in New Jersey and Indiana, some still standing today. Before the concrete house company failed, Edison experimented with molding concrete objects. The camera shows odd, heavy furniture, a concrete phonograph cabinet, a piano, and even a strangely durable tombstone. Henry Ford, then chief engineer at Edison Illuminating Company, sketches his gasoline-powered auto experiments for his idol in 1896. Edison enthusiastically encourages the young engineer, providing the crucial early endorsement Ford needed. In 1912, Edison and Ford meet again, cementing a lasting personal friendship built on mutual respect and shared technological zeal. This relationship soon leads to famous cross-country adventures. In 1914, Edison, Ford, naturalist John Burroughs, and Harvey Firestone embark on their first legendary summer camping trip to the Everglades. This journey blends natural exploration with technological promotion. A montage depicts the Vagabonds traversing the U.S. in Ford automobiles fitted with Firestone tires between 1914 and 1924. Their entourage highlights the humorous blend of rugged camping and luxurious support staff. The trips serve a serious purpose, examining America's poor roadways. These publicized adventures promoted the feasibility of motorized recreational touring and pushed for national infrastructure improvement. Newspaper headlines declare millions of dollars worth of brains off on a vacation, reflecting the immense public interest in the famous friends' annual escapades across the American countryside. In 1921, while camping in Maryland, the Vagabonds receive a visit from President Warren Harding. The gathering of these titans of industry and politics underscores their immense cultural stature. Henry Ford purchases the Mangoes next to Edison's Seminole Lodge in Fort Myers, Florida in 1916. The adjacent winter homes symbolize their deep and lasting friendship, a retreat from the industrial world. During WW1, Edison is appointed to the Naval Consulting Board, advising the military on science. He is seen frustrated, feeling the military was not appreciative or receptive to his innovative, non-military-minded ideas. By 1911, all of Edison's business ventures consolidate under Thomas A. Edison, Inc., with Edison increasingly delegating responsibilities as the company's goals shifted from pure innovation to maintaining market relevance. Facing looming supply issues, Edison dedicates his final years from 1923 to finding an alternative rubber source from domestic plants, focusing intensely on goldenrod. This urgent research effort becomes his last major scientific crusade. By the 1920s, Edison's health deteriorates, exacerbated by long-term diabetes. He severely restricts his diet to only milk and cigars, attempting to manage severe gastric ulcers that had plagued him for decades. Edison's kidneys succumbed to nephritis following a bout of pneumonia, leading to rapidly rising toxin levels. His drowsiness escalated, threatening to slip into a coma by the summer of 1931. With acute kidney failure, Edison approaches death with characteristic detachment. He asks his physician to chart the declining toxin levels, analyzing his own mortality as a final, purely logical research challenge. Despite medical interventions, Edison struggles with the cumulative effects of diabetes, Bright's disease, and uremic poisoning. His complications from type 2 diabetes ultimately prove fatal. Dr. Howe notes Edison exhibited remarkable bravery, comprehending that death was unavoidable, yet showing no fear. He maintained a purely logical mindset about his condition, devoid of sentimentality. Thomas Alva Edison lies peacefully in his Glenmont mansion in the early morning hours of October 18, 1931. At 84, he recognizes only Mina by his bedside, the effects of uremic poisoning bringing his monumental life to its quiet conclusion. 8 empty test tubes stand near Edison's bedside, symbolizing his lifelong love of chemistry. His son, Charles, seals one tube, famously labeled Edison's Last Breath, preserving a sentimental link to his father's final moments. Edison's body lies in state in the West Orange Laboratory Library, where over 50,000 mourners pass by to pay their respects over 2 days, confirming his status as a national icon. The funeral is elaborate, featuring a ceremony at the laboratory. The West Orange American Legion temporarily drapes the coffin with the American flag in front of Mrs. Mina Edison, honoring his service and stature. A private funeral is held at Glenmont, attended by nearly 400 friends, including Henry Ford and Harvey Firestone, and First Lady Lou Henry Hoover, representing the nation's profound respect. President Herbert Hoover requests that all lights nationwide be dimmed in Edison's memory, a fitting, powerful tribute to the man who single-handedly brought electric light to the world. Sculptor James Earl Fraser prepares a death mask and a cast of Edison's hands, artifacts now preserved alongside the funeral flag at the Thomas Edison National Historical Park. Edison is buried simply in the family lot behind the Glenmont estate, a half-mile from his West Orange laboratory, his grave marked by a plain stone in Locust Grove Cemetery. Every incandescent light is his remembrancer. Every powerhouse is his monument. Edison lives, encapsulating the scope and permanence of his influence. Edison accumulated a staggering 1,093 patents in the United States alone, maintaining the title of the world's most prolific inventor throughout the 20th century, only surpassed in 2003. His most significant legacy is the development of the practical incandescent light bulb and the establishment of complete power distribution systems, revolutionizing modern life and extending productive hours. The phonograph forever changed entertainment and communication, laying the foundation for the entire recorded music industry and influencing culture worldwide. Edison's kinetograph and kinetoscope, along with his contributions to film technology, helped establish the foundation of the modern film and entertainment industry. Perhaps his greatest invention was the Industrial Research Laboratory itself, the model pioneered at Menlo Park and perfected at West Orange, which became the standard for modern corporate R&D worldwide. Edison was not just an inventor, but a successful businessman who founded 14 companies, including General Electric, GE, demonstrating how to effectively commercialize new technologies. His strong work ethic, captured in his definition of genius as 98% to 99% perspiration, continues to inspire new generations of inventors, underscoring that success comes from relentless determination.